Men's and women's soccer hosted 4 games this past weekend. We bring you the highlights from Walker Field.
Plus, find out if football had a successful trip to Nebraska against rival Chadron State.
All of that and more coming up on Maverick Postgame. Well, it's not often anyone can say this, but CMU Athletics had a perfect record this weekend. So it's time to celebrate and recap their amazing accomplishments. Welcome to Maverick Postgame. I'm Joe Azar.
And I'm Bryce Reedy. After dominating Western State in the opening game of the season, CMU's football team took to the road for the first time. The Mavs took on Chadron State in Don B Stadium in Nebraska and looked to start the season off 2-0 against RMAC rivals.
Yeah, the 17th ranked Mavericks opened the scoring on the defensive side of the ball. George Manning picked off quarterback Dalton Holst for the 55-yard pick six. It was the first pick six for the Mavericks since Dustin Rivas did the same thing against Chadron State last season. David Tan then had a 15-yard run that ended in the end zone to give CMU the 14-0 lead. Then with 24 seconds left in the first half, it was Easton Salem's turn to run for a touchdown with his 9-yard run, giving CMU a 21-0 halftime lead.
In the second half, CMU's defense bent but did not break. Chadron would put up 10 points on the board despite putting up 459 passing yards on the day. In the end, however, CMU did enough to get the job done. 24-10 was the final score from Nebraska. Chadron State put up 515 yards of total offense, but only got a touchdown and a field goal out of it. David Tan finished with 108 yards rushing and a touchdown, while quarterback Easton Salem finished with a rushing touchdown for himself and completed 18 of his pass attempts for 195 yards. CMU will now shift their focus to another RMAC rival, hosting Colorado School of Mines in a battle for the Nikos Cup this Saturday at 1 p.m. from Stoker Stadium.
Well, throughout the last 3 years, CMU men's soccer team has continued to strive to be a contender in the national level. Last season, their season ended on a somber note when they lost in the final 10 minutes against Midwestern State down in Texas. This year, the Mavs look to get home field advantage in the region and to have dominance over their NCAA regional opponents. In order to do that, a statement had to be made this weekend against 2 regional contenders. Their opponents were St. Mary's and only the number 7 team in the nation, St. Edwards. Let's take you down to Walker Field for highlights of both games. We were there. It was an amazing atmosphere. The Mavericks at Walker Field hosting the number 7 team in the nation. And as you can tell, everyone was getting pumped up. We picked things up here in the second half. Here is a good cross from Kevin Del Mazo. Benji Delgadillo gets his head on it and scores the opening goal. A beautiful cross here, and look at how high he gets up with the header, Bryce. And a big moment there for Del Mazo, but he was not done.
You know, he was not. Later, he was going to be one of the scorers for the Mavericks. This time it's going to come off of a pass from none other than Moshe Perez, and he's going to find Del Mazo right in the middle, and he's going to be able to put it past the goalkeeper for the second goal of the day, and that one was a huge one for the Mavericks.
Yeah, absolutely. We're going to see it again on the replay here. Look at that pass, and the defense was caught ball watching, and Del Mazo sneaks inside the 18 and scores. You can see the happiness on his face. Mavericks completely dominant over the number 7 team in the nation. St. Edwards 2-0. Now we take you to Sunday against St. Mary's, where KM Kane shined through.
Yeah, and once again, this is another tough opponent that has given the Mavericks struggles in the past, but it was going to be the Mavericks who come away dominant in this game.
Yeah, as you can see here, here comes the opening goal. Again, that MKM line, that forward line doing its job. Here comes a great pass from Slater Elkind. Malik Manana misses the first one, but gets the second one to go through. We're going to see it again on the replay. A fantastic pass there. Missed the first one, able to turn around. No one's on the ball, and Manana scores his first goal. As you can tell, that's one, he says, but that forward line wasn't done, Bryce.
No, not done at all. This time, it's going to be the Mavericks once again pressing, and a mistake by the defenseman gets Moshe Perez the ball, and then they're going to be able to get it past the goalkeeper for the second goal of the day to give the Mavericks the 2-0 lead.
Yeah, Kevin Del Mazo on the end of that one. So we got one more left. Here's a great effort by Roberto Diaz to get the ball back after losing it. Finds Moshe Perez right inside the 18-yard box. Keeper thought he was going outside. He goes inside for the goal, and we're going to take another look at that. He is a goal scorer, Bryce, and he's able to find the back of the net and get the job done. Mavericks, once again, dominant against this regional opponents, this time St. Mary's. The final score, 3-1. Mavs sweep their regional games and start 4-0 for the first time since 2010. The MKM forward line came through in a big way. Moshe Perez, Malik Manana, and Kevin Del Mazo each scored against the Rattlers. That goal for Del Mazo being his third in 4 games. CMU now switches to the conference section of their schedule, facing off against a tough Colorado School of Mines team this Friday at home.
Now, it was a tough trip to California for CMU women's soccer to open up the season. The team opened up the season with 2 losses, including one to the 22nd ranked team in the nation. Now returning home this weekend, the Mavs seek to get their season back on track and get their first positive result of the season. Once again, we're gonna take you over to Walker Field for highlights of Fridays and Sundays matchups for the women's soccer team as they played 2 non-conference opponents, much like the men's team. And this time, the women's were going to get on the board first after a miscommunication with the goalkeeper. That is a goal from none other than Zoe Peterson for her first of the season.
Well, that's Lauren Thompson there,
Excuse me.
Bryce, and she's able to get on the receiving end of that goal. And as you can see there, really unfortunate for the opposing defense to slide in and score the goal. But Thompson gets her 3rd ever collegiate goal and gets the job done for the Mavericks. 1-0. That came in the 88th minute, a very close game, but they needed to get the job done against Nebraska Kearney. And we have one highlight for you here. It is a juicy one, to say the least. Here's Amanda Wenzel. She's a midfielder, but she's got some range, and you're going to see it here right now as she's able to chip the goalkeeper right there and able to get it on that far post for the score. And Alexis Yayard scored again for the Mavericks for a big win, Bryce.
Yeah, the Mavericks take down the Lopers 2-0 with early goals from Amanda Wenzel and Alexis Allard. Now, CMU has a .500 record this season at 2-2, and the Mavs now play the next 4 games on the road, starting with the game in Denver against Rollins College on Wednesday, before they take down a trip to Salt Lake this weekend to take on Westminster College.
Yeah, and volleyball went to Texas for the Lubbock Christian Chap Classic, say that 4 times fast, to face off against 4 teams in 3 days. The opening game against the host Chaparrals was the easiest of the 4 contests. The Mavs swept Lubbock in straight sets. The easiest contest was then followed by the most difficult. On Saturday against Eastern New Mexico, CMU lost their first 2 sets, 25-23, putting them in a major deficit. Needing to win all 3 of the next sets, CMU won the next 2 and took the matchup to the decisive 5th. There, the Mavs faced another deficit, going down 7-4. However, thanks to a season-high 11 blocks, the Mavs went on to win and go 2-0 on the weekend thanks to that comeback win.
The Mavs then beat Southwestern Oklahoma State University 3-1 on Sunday, and the Mavs had a chance to win their 4th straight game and sweep the tournament. Their opponent, Texas Women's University, made it interesting despite their 1-5 record. Both teams exchanged set wins to reach a decisive 5th. Thanks to a monster 23 kill, 19 dig, and 5 block performance by Mackenzie Edwards, CMU emerged victorious. The Mavericks will now begin RMAC play with games this weekend against Western State and Westminster College.
It is now time to name our Maverick of the Week, and this player comes from the women's soccer team. 4 freshmen are battling for the starting goalkeeper spot there, Bryce, and after back-to-back clean sheets, Jessica Jolly made her case to keep that starting spot.
Indeed, the Fruita alum was back in a familiar place, playing 2 games in Walker Field. On Friday, Jolly saved the 2 shots on goal she faced. She was rewarded with her efforts and started the game on Sunday. Jolly made another save, 2 games, 2 wins, and 2 clean sheets. The hat trick gives Jolly the Mav of the Week honor.
Well, that'll do it for this week. As always, check back with us next week for all the latest news and scores from CMU Sports. With Bryce Reedy, I'm Joe Azar. Have a fantastic week, CMU.